This is the final unit design project for the Technology Integration Across the Curriculum class created by Megan Riley and Megan Steck. For some information about our learners, we decided to plan a unit that was for a looped global studies and English class at the 9th grade level at a high school in Lake Villa, Illinois. At this high school, there's not a lot of ethnic diversity, but a small portion of the learners are English language learners. The looped class includes students of mixed ability levels, considering there's no honors track. Within the mixed ability, students are expected to have a basic understanding of research skills and writing and speaking skills, but it's understood that they'll have a limited understanding of different world religions, information about that. Within our looped class setup, the social studies class will be researching different world religions, while the English class will then take this knowledge and read literature influenced by those religions. These are some of the learning objectives. In the social studies class, students will be expected to show proficiency with comparing and contrasting using two Venn diagrams, researching credible sources concerning their religion, and presenting what they've researched to the class. In the English class, students will show proficiency through annotating, in which they'll have to cite textual evidence from their story or poem, and by accurately analyzing their annotations and connecting them back to the religious beliefs. They will also have to do a presentation. In both classes, students will be put into groups of 4 to 5 and based on their ability level, be assigned a religion to research. Both classrooms are similar in size and materials, and all students are expected to follow the school policy of respect plus courtesy equals pride. This is something that's really important, especially during this unit, since when we're discussing different religions and there are different religious backgrounds within the class, and so students especially have to be respectful when talking about other religions, even if they personally don't agree with them. We're examining it from a objective point of view, not preaching. To gain attention, we will simply talk about religion in school and how we'll be studying it from, like I said, the historical and literary point of view. The unit plan will be using Ganji's 9-step model, which is listed on this slide. And here's another visual to show how each step builds on the next to achieve that retention and transfer. On day 1, the social studies class will be using Ganji's 3rd step, which is recalling prior knowledge. We'll do this by discussing misconceptions about some of the religions, specifically the Islamic religion, since that religion is often in the spotlight in a negative way. And then continuing, the social studies class will also on day 1 get information about how they will be assessed for their presentations. On day 1 in the English class will reinforce what social studies already discussed and model how to annotate and analyze a text. This model will be an Islamic poem so that students can connect what they discussed in the social studies class to what they are reading in the English class. We're going to read one of the stories from the Excellence of Contentment by Sadi, an Islamic philosopher. Students will also receive info on the first day for how they will be assessed through their presentation and through a creative writing assignment after everyone presents. Days 2 through 4 in the social studies class will be a time for students to research, to work on their presentations, and to practice presenting. Students will be able to use Google Slides or a Prezi to create their presentation, which are both, designed so students can share the material and work on it simultaneously. The teacher will, of course, be available throughout this process to provide guidance to students who might be struggling with finding credible sources or just need some help using the technology. In English, it'll be similar. First, students will research their piece of literature and the author, and then they'll annotate the literature. The teacher will formatively assess this to make sure that it's accurate before they present. And on this slide is an example of a student sample of annotating one of the Christian stories, the Good Samaritan parable. Day 5 and 6 in the social studies class will be days for presenting. Students that are watching the presentations, this gives them incentive to pay attention because they're going to have to compare and contrast different religions in either a 3-item Venn diagram or just the traditional 2-item comparison Venn diagram. Days 5 and 6 of the English class are similar. Students will present, but they won't be required to take notes. However, since the final assessment requires students to create their own short story or poem incorporating 2 beliefs from different religions, they will need to be taking either mental notes or actual pen and paper notes to make sure that they have at least one other belief system that they feel comfortable with in which to incorporate into their story. And I'm sure many students will use their Venn diagrams also from the social studies class to help them with this. Whichever religion they're comparing to the one that they had to present on is probably the most likely belief system that they'll also incorporate into their creative writing. In both classrooms, there is availability to a set of Chromebooks. Some students are familiar with Google Slides and Prezi, but some students may have only used it once before, so they're by no means an expert. So it's good exposure to those programs. And then the other technology is listed. Something else that the English class is going to use is an app called Genius Scan, which students can download on a smartphone if they want. Or I have some iPads in my room that have the app on it that they can use. But basically this app takes a picture of their pen and paper annotations and then transforms it into a PDF file that they can then incorporate into their presentation for the class, so everyone can see the thought process they went through with annotating in order to arrive at the conclusions they did for their story, since not all students will be reading every story or poem. The summative evaluations for the social studies class will be in 2 parts. First, the students will present what they researched using the Google Slides or the Prezis, and then they will complete 2 Venn diagrams to show what they learned from the other students' presentations. They'll be expected to score at least 85% on both assessments, and they will, in addition, complete an evaluation of their peers on the topic that they collaborated with them on to make sure that the teacher, even though will be walking around and observing, that if there were any issues in the group or someone felt like a student didn't carry their fair share, this would be the place to do that evaluation. Similarly, the English class will have a summative evaluation presentation using the Google Slides or Prezis, And then students will have to write their own story or poem incorporating the two beliefs from different religions after everyone has presented. Students are expected to score at least 85% on this assessment as well.